What's up, dudes? It's a Vigorous Q&A, a little bit later than usual because I was just on the call with Paul Burnett and everybody else over at the Anabolic Bodybuilding podcast. So my sincere apologies for almost not making it, but 5 minutes too late is not the end of the world. All right, let's see what kind of updates we have. 1 second. First, I got to load all those questions from the members. Let me load those in the meantime. And what do we need to discuss? Well, Wednesday I already did a live, so I updated you guys a little bit. I did a collaboration with Dr. Dean St. Mart in, what was it, Dubai, in Bino's gym. I'll link that down below. Elite FTS just dropped the podcast that I did with them, when was that, October? Last year. They just re-uploaded it. So if you didn't watch it yet and you want to watch it, it's already linked down below. The Wesley Visser's podcast will probably drop sometime next week. It's gone through the editing process. That's all done. Just waiting for Wesley to finish with the training montage, and then we can kind of drop that at the same time. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So let's get into some of the member questions first before I forget. Just answer those one by one, and then I'll get started at the top of the chat. So let's do these first in the meantime. If it's connecting. All right, here we go. James asks, yo, planning on making my own Dutchess cocktail pre-workout consisting of 200 milligrams testosterone powder, 10 milligrams VOR, dissolved in grapefruit juice, and down the hatch. Thoughts? I would reduce the testosterone powder to maybe 50 milligrams. It should be enough, man. 200 milligrams, if you're going to do that pre-workout or every single day, that's 1,400 milligrams or let's say 1,000 milligrams per week. And that's a boatload of aromatization. So you do need a good amount of aromacin with that. And of course, if you're going for a Dutchess cocktail to beat the drug test, well, Anavar is detectable for about 3 weeks and testosterone suspension 4 to 5 days. But aromacin, I think it was, well, I'd have to go into my notes real quick. And again, I'm retiring from drug coaching, drug testing coaching, because the Olympics just started, and I don't think my information is up to date after that, and it's not worth keeping up to date for the limited amount of drug testing coaching that I have. Where is it? So based on my PD detection times, aromacin is, where is it? 3 weeks. All right. So with that, you'd also need to wait 3 weeks. So if you're just doing this for the sake of it, I would just reduce the testosterone powder to 50 milligrams at maximum 100 milligrams sublingually with grapefruit juice, because I don't see a reason why you would need more than that. 200 milligrams is quite overkill. And again, you need an aromatase inhibitor alongside of that. All right, next one. Second, I'm gonna add all of these in. Again, I was having too much fun with the boys, so forgive me. Maximal asks, hey Steve, 41-year-old, 103 kilos, 20% body fat. I'm on a Lazy Man's TRT Plus, so that's 1 injection per week, preferably on Thursday if you have your cheat meal on Saturday or Sunday. My blood pressure is 142/79, so that's too high. A resting heart rate 76, also too high. Daily Ciliatus 5 milligrams, 600 milligrams supplemental magnesium. I did the fasted cardio. What do you recommend? What you recommended for a few weeks with no improvement. Do I go telmisartan for now? No, I would advise you to check your serum estradiol levels because you're obviously aromatizing a lot with a single administration per week and a 20% body fat. So maybe your serum estradiol is like 100 picograms per milliliter. And I would rather bring your serum estradiol levels down, and thus your water retention, thus your weight, and thus your blood pressure, and thus your resting heart rate. And then you don't need telmisartan. And if that doesn't fix it, keep doing the cardio, reduce your calories, get your body fat levels under control to 10, 12% body fat, and then your blood pressure will get under control as well. And your heart rate will adapt to the fasted cardio that you should be doing at moderate intensity. Then your resting heart rate will also be coming down. So instead of going telmisartan, reduce your blood pressure by reducing your body fat percentage and use an aromatase inhibitor to get your estradiol levels under control. I'm sure it's high on this protocol with this much body fat. Next. See, I'm going to put these in one by one. Dubster Buster asks, hey Steve, what do you know about IGF-1 from NXPGF? Never heard of that. It should be stable IGF-1 in oral consumption. Let me Google that. NXGF. Looks like a sales tactic to me, just scrolling through the website. So, growth hormone and IGF-1 should be injected. I've never heard of this company before. So I would say no. Spend your money on injectable IGF-1 until it proves itself, and then you can always buy it later. Next one. Hey, Steve, what to look for when buying berberine? Roots, extracts, hydrochlorides, and what's the daily dose? Actually, berberine is always a root extract in hydrochloride form. So I'll link the one that I use down below. That is Well-Bet X berberine, 500 milligrams. And then Gorilla Mind has a glucose disposal agent as well, but it contains more ingredients. I'll link that also. And then you can choose either 5% discount from iHerb or 10% discount with Gorilla Mind. Gorilla Mind glucose disposal agent. That one has berberine hydrochloride with the cyclodextrin complex, so that absorbs a little bit more favorably, even though 500 milligrams regular berberine just absorbs totally fine as well. And then I have bitter melon, Gymnea sylvestre extract, Psyllium PF, which is cinnamon bark, and sodium cuprate, and Valdehyl sulfate, which is an insulin mimetic, 1 milligram of vanadium. So that should work a little bit more potently than regular berberine, but regular berberine works just fine. So maybe you can take regular berberine before bed during the week on your normal diet, and then you take the Gorilla Mind glucose disposal agent when you need it, when you go a high carb day. You take it with every meal, right? 1 tablet with every meal, or you take it before bed to improve insulin sensitivity overnight. Multiple ways to address it. A couple more questions, guys. I'll get to the chat questions soon. That's this. 1 second. It's got to look good on screen, man. You get like 10 to 15,000 views per Vigorous Q&A over the week. Morphix asks, hey coach, 300 milligrams test, 4 milligrams ment a week. Isn't that 40 milligrams ment or just 4? Might not even be worth an injection, but I'm going to assume that it's 40 milligrams ment per week. After introducing 4 IU's growth hormone, I got a resting heart rate of 98. That's way too high. But drank a little that day. So you're drinking and then you're checking your heart rate. I mean, what are you doing? I'm assuming you're talking about drinking alcohol, not drinking water. Could GH cause an elevated heart rate? Blood pressure around 128/80. Blood glucose 80. Fasted. All blood markers are perfect. Well, it could be inflammation from the testosterone or the ment that you're injecting. It could be the water retention that you suddenly got from the growth hormone. And then your body weight went up and your resting heart rate went up to accommodate for this increase in body weight that you're not used to because you're not doing daily fasted cardio to control your resting heart rate, by acclimatizing your body weight to this cardio that you're doing every day. So don't drink, obviously. Take that out. Yes, growth hormone can elevate your heart rate and your blood pressure and your blood glucose. It could be inflammation. It could be from the additional water retention. And if you're in doubt, just take the growth hormone out for a couple days. Don't drink alcohol while you're monitoring your resting heart rate, and then see if it came back down. And go back to the default where everything was good. And then maybe reintroduce the growth hormone later on at 2 IUs. Maybe the 4 IUs is too much of a jump. Next one from Luke. Where are we? When on HRT, test DHA and pregnenolone, any negative health effects eating a very low-fat diet, sub 40 grams year-round? Yes, because you need healthy fat for cognitive function, insulin sensitivity, functioning of the cell membrane, which is made from fats. So 40 grams, I would say, is too low. If you want to do that for 3 months for a diet, okay. But year-round, no, not a good idea. Meaning no added fats, just consuming trace fats, cooking oils, supplements, 6 grams of omega-3s. Yeah, I think it's too low unless you weigh like 120 pounds, but I'm assuming not. So I would at least increase that to, I don't know, what is it, 1 gram, half a gram per pound. So if you're 200 pounds, 100 grams of fat, that's usually a good sign. Like I do 1 kilo per 1, or 1 gram per 1 kilo. So I'm 100 kilos, give or take. So I eat 100 grams of fat per day. And sometimes I go a little bit lower if I want to push the diet. I mean, right now I'm fasting still. It's been 4 days. Still cognitively laser sharp dialed in, but that's the griddle amount respawn in the new peptide that I took before this live stream. That helps a lot. So technically the last 4 days I've been on 5 grams of fat from fish oil, but it's not very sustainable, which I know. So after this fast is over, which I'm going to break tomorrow with some sushi, then I will go back to about 100 grams of fat per day. Yeah, and diet down and rely on the GH to get me lean, besides the cardio and the caloric restriction, obviously. So I don't think it's a good idea to do long term. All the guys that I know that did that long term have intestinal issues or digestive issues. They have terrible skin. They look oxidized and cognitively impaired. All right, next one. Iron Grid. He asks, I can't believe I missed the Wednesday comeback. Good reason for it, though. Moved out. All right, moved out of the house. Now he's on his own. You have 2 cats, right? You brought those with you? What's the best way to recomp for normie physique? You mean a natural physique? Friend is 179 centimeters, 75 kilos, 21 male, no prior training. Get him started on training maintenance for a year, and then he can bulk or cut. All right, so I have a training article on my website. I'll link it down below. And you can just start there. Tell them to read that. It's very easy to go through. And you just start with a full body split, and then a 2-day split, and then a 3-day split, and then a push-pull legs A-B routine, right? And you just keep working through those for next year or two. I mean, stay natural for as long as you can, obviously. And then if he's 21 now, then, I mean, for the next 4 years, he's just got to grind. And then maybe at 25, 26 years old, he can think about using a little bit of sauce. But make him earn it, man. No fucking laziness from the beginning, because then your foundation is based on drugs. And guess what? It's not going to go anywhere, just like we see amongst all those TikTok kids. They max out at like 190 pounds, which is pathetic. And that's on gear. Andrew Gallardi asks, hey, I switched from 175 test intramuscular 2 times a week to sub-Q every day to see if my back knee would get better. After 1 to 2 weeks, back knee actually got way worse. How is this possible? Diet stayed exactly the same. It could be from a more frequent influx of androgens, or maybe you just need to persist through it, because in the beginning, your hormonal balance in the acne was based on 2 peaks over the week, and now it's based on little peaks. So maybe the hormonal fluctuation is just a shock to your body. And well, otherwise you just got to pull out all the stops, and that's remove all the dairy products. No cheese, no milk, no yogurt even, no processed foods, no whey protein, no anything dairy products, no chocolate, right? Anything that could possibly contain gluten or dairy, take it out, right? Cook all of your own meals. Make sure that you shower 3-4 times per day, so that's in the morning when you wake up, pre-workout, post-workout, and before you go to bed. I know it sucks, but hygiene is king here. Change your shirts all the time. Remove the fabric softener that you're using, or the laundry detergent. Change that. Maybe wash all of your clothes one time at super high temperature to kill all the germs, including your bedding. Change your pillow sheet and your the sheets that you're sleeping on every day. It sucks, but sometimes you just got to do that. And then otherwise, there's always low-dose Accutane, 10 milligrams 2 or 3 times a week. But try the other options first. And those are the member questions. All right, let's scroll up. And then we're going to start with Danny Boy. I love your vids, dude. Keep up the great content. It's really good shit. Hell yeah. That's what I'd like to hear. Here's the question, though. At 400 milligrams of test, 300 milligrams Primo, split 2 times per week intramuscularly. So that's 200 tests, 150 Primo per shot. Monday, Friday, I'm assuming. I want to go daily sub-Q to manage estrogen and back pimples. Did I just answer your question? Or was that somebody else? That was Andrew Gallardi. Everybody has the same issues. Is this a good change? Will I notice anything negative while adopting to new daily sub-Q? So refer to the previous question for potential blowout about the acne. Apply all the practices which I just discussed, and transfer your 400 test and Trina Primo to a sterile vial, which you can buy on Amazon. Which is that already linked down below? Amazon. Oh, sterile vials from this Chinese company. Where is it? Well, it doesn't really matter, and the kickback on Amazon is minuscule, so you'll be able to find it. Just get some sterile vials on Amazon, and then draw with an insulin syringe. That's what I do. You prepare a week's worth in advance. You draw with insulin syringes, so it's easier to store. James Work. My thyroid stimulating hormone levels came back at 0.223 on a range, so that's below the reference range. I'm currently on a TRT dose of testosterone, 50 milligrams subcutaneous every day. So that's what, 105 milligrams a week? Yes, I was correct. 105 milligrams per week. 3, I use growth hormone before bed, intramuscularly every day, 100 micrograms T4 in the morning. What should I do? I'm assuming that your T3 and T4 levels are just very, very high, and the growth or the testosterone that you're taking is freeing up more T4 and T3 by reducing thyroid binding globulins, and the growth hormone is speeding up the conversion of T4 into T3, and that's why your TSH levels are low. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think you can reduce the T4 to 50 micrograms per day upon waking, and then bring your TSH levels back up to the point it's, let's say, 0.5 to 1 milli-IUs per milliliter, so your thyroid function is not completely downregulated, or at least the hypothalamus pituitary thyroid axis, right? That's signaling, because TSH is within normal parameters, albeit at the bottom of the reference range. And then you'll also save money on exogenous T4. So that's what I would do. Split up the dose, or half the dose, 50 micrograms in the morning, and keep the rest the same. Oh, this one. Really good news for enhanced games made Olympics. Organizers decided to piss even off more people. Yeah. It's like watching the acolytes unfold over the next couple of weeks. Yeah, so enhanced games is just going to be more and more popular. It's going to be bigger and badder than ever. D-Lo, get ready for your weekly cheer up courtesy of Uncle Steve. I know I am. Well, don't rely on me to make your day, but if it makes your day, then I'm all for it. Super Physiological Dad, sorry it took 30 minutes to get to your super chat, but we're finally here. Hey, Steve, post-cruising on 250 testosterone for 6 weeks. Just got bloods. Everything is in range besides my HDL. It's 37. RBC is 6.17. Red cell distribution with 18. Mean corpulus vorum 76. Yeah, okay, I don't know those off the top of my head. Your HDL is a little bit low. The only way you can really increase that is by coming off cycle. It's just going to be sub 40, maybe 50 if you're lucky, if you're doing a fat-only diet, right? Ketogenic diet. Eat a lot of fish oil, eat a lot of citrus bergamot, take some berberine before bed. It might come up to 42, 45 if you're lucky. RBC 6.2. I'm not sure if that's bad without knowing your hematocrit. I mean, it's a little bit on the high side, but it's not alarmingly high. Red cell distribution with is because you just came off cycle. So this the red cells that you're producing now, coming from a contest prep to a cruise, are going to be different size, and you're producing less than before. So it's the size between the big and the larger blood cells is just going to be skewed. And I don't know if the MCV, MCH, MCHC are skewed, but I think they're in range. Because I'd need to see the ranges and match that to your hematocrit. So for now, I would say you're okay. Check it again 3 weeks later with the fish oil and the citrus bergamot and the berberine, and letting all the contest drugs get out of your system, and then your HDL should be a little bit higher. Amen. Good evening, Steve. Thanks for the information. My pleasure. My pleasure. Happy to give back. Dubster Buster, would trying to signify lower SHBG with boron be like trying to infiltrate a car tire by mouth with an SHBG level of 123? Yeah, that's pretty fucking high. I ran boron when my SHBG was that high, and it didn't make a fucking dent. So if you have Proviron, or you start increasing your carb intake to increase insulin secretion, which also reduces SHBG levels. So yeah, if you have Proviron, then you can use that to bring it down 12.5 milligrams per day. Depends on if you're on testosterone or not. I can't remember. I don't remember what everybody's running. Aaron Grid, I'm going to be in and out of the stream a bit. My ISP is screwing up, unfortunately. Okay, well, hopefully there's another moderator, and if you see shit, then I'll just ban you myself. Henry Pham. Hey, Steve, will you be doing any meetups at Dragon's Lair this year during the Olympia, or are you going boothing with Chase Iron? I'll booth with Chase Irons and go to the Dragon's Lair and all the gyms, but any meetups? Probably not. You're just going to have to catch me somewhere, man. Yeah, you're just going to. I'll probably be busy 24/7. We have the what is this called? The seminar, the Olympia seminar. What is it called? Oh, Olympia University. Right, I actually had the schedule. Forgot to mention that on Wednesday. So I'll be on Saturday, 1 p.m., somewhere in the Las Vegas Convention Center on the TRT and Performance Enhancing Drug panel. Starts at 1 p.m., and I'll be a part of the panel with Jay Campbell, Rick Collins, Eric Fette, or Feet, Ali Gilbert, Dave Lee, Nathan Payton, Vigorous Steve, that's me, George Tuliatos, and Elizabeth Yurth, Mike Coxis, and Dylan Gemelli. So that's the biggest panel of 11 people. Saturday, 1 p.m. So at least I don't have to get out of bed early. There's another longevity and anti-aging panel on Friday, but that's 8 a.m. That's way too early for my liking. And that's with Jay Campbell, Eric Fette, Nick Lambe, Dave Lee, Stephen Murphy, Denise Rexroth, George Tuliatos, Elizabeth Yurth, and Mike Coxis. Don't know all of these people, but I'm sure I'll know them after the panel is done. So that's what you can expect from the Olympia weekend. We'll mostly be at the booth. Obviously, I'll have to leave the booth at the Olympia weekend once in a while. I know that Wesley wanted to pop by. I invited Dr. James from the Dr. James YouTube channel, which I met him at Bino's gym for maybe an hour, 1.5 hours. I completely interrupted his workout, but we had a good discussion about the YouTube game and, talking about performance enhancing drugs. He was not ready to do a podcast yet, but I'll get him on as soon as he's ready. And I met Dr. Dean, obviously also in Bino's gym, and I invited him as well. So everybody's free to join in. Once we have the booth set up and we know the space, then we'll start actively promoting it, and we hope to see you guys there. And but when I go to Dragon's Lair or other gyms, I do expect to get a little bit of a pump. So if you see me, come say hi, but don't expect too much conversation because I'm there to make some fucking gains, man. Last year I was tiny at the Mr. Olympia, so this year I got to look swole again. So let me fucking work out. Coached by Roland, protocol for girls for bigger gyno. There's estrogen cream, estradiol cream that the ladyboys use, and I'm not sure if you can buy it online. Estradiol vaginal cream. Maybe it's that. Anyway, there's several estradiol or estrone creams that you could use. And that seems to work quite well. And otherwise, there's always surgery. Right? The problem is with women, if they gain too much body fat, they obviously get bigger boobs, but they also get chunky. Right? So big boobs and a fat chick doesn't really count. Like big calves and a fat guy. It doesn't really count. It's not hard work. All right, let me scroll down a little bit. All right, Maximal says he's using AI. I thought this would be very obvious. My estradiol is 47.8. You didn't mention that, buddy. Did you mention that in your question? I don't know where it was. Or did I overlook that? Where was your question? Yeah, it's not in your question. Where's that your estradiol is in your question? So you still need to reduce your body fat, buddy. So your estradiol is not too high. So yeah, throw in the telmisartan then. Go for it. But I would reduce my body weight. Still, maybe add in some magnesium to bring that down. It's never obvious, man. You'd be surprised how many people not use AIs and let their estradiol levels go sky high. I have consultations about this all the time. So it's all right. I forgive you for not mentioning it. Jake Applebaum. Hey, Steve, what do you think about glutathione has a place in TRT++? Is it unnecessary for most? No, I think glutathione is fucking amazing. 600 milligrams to 1800 milligrams per week. I mean, look at my skin. Look at this. Look how nice and soft and marbly and fucking yoked. All right? Leaner than Wednesday, that's for sure. Flat, though. But I think glutathione is amazing, man. I think everybody should be on it. Oh, where were we? Here. So yeah, if you can intramuscular 600 milligrams 3 times per week or IV 800 milligrams once a week, I would do that because it's night and day compared to N-acetylcysteine, or whether you do glycine and acetylcysteine or the Gyno, which is a little bit more popular to or more potent to increase glutathione stores, or use SAM-E alongside of that 400 milligrams to 800 milligrams per day to increase the glycogen. The glutathione stores within the liver, right? If you're on a heavy stack like that, injectable glutathione, even 600 milligrams per week, will blow that out of the water because it's super physiological, and all your blood work parameters should look a lot better if you do that frequently. Henry Fenn, under 1 gram of total steroids per week for a blast, would you rather crank up the test with an AI or split test and Primo? It's whatever you prefer, man. Whatever you prefer. I've done both, and I've liked both. Pharmaceutical Primo is mad expensive right now, and so testing an AI works just well. You'll probably look a little bit better on testing Primo, but it's a blast, and it's probably the off season. So let's see, for you personally, which have you found better for success balancing health and gains? I would say testing an AI is healthier, less bad in your lipids than testing Primo, but skewed lipids you can mitigate, right, with ancillaries or healthy eating. So I don't know, if money is not an option, I would run 500 tests, 500 Primo. But if money is an option, or money is a limiting factor, I would run a gram a test and let's say 25 milligrams of Romacin 4 to 5 times a week, assuming you're decent body fat. Medieval Engineer, I thought I would stump Steve with a question about stretch marks, but alas, he already has a whole ass video on it. Yes, man, I got you covered. Let me link it down below. Didn't get any views, so. Oh, more stretch marks. Or at least September. I did that one myself because the subtitles are horrendous. 6,000 views. That's all right. That's all right. All right, it's linked down below. Ha! I got every cover made. Internet back, hell yeah, let's hope it lasts. Man, moving out is fun until the unexpected problems arise. Yeah, just wait until you got to do your own laundry and dishes. That's why we got girlfriends. No. Let's not go there, right? At least do it for a decade yourself. And then when you make a boatload of money, you can hire some staff, then you can outsource the laundry and the dishes. Yeah, you can outsource the laundry. Well, you still need to fold it and hang it, but you can outsource it to the laundry machine and the drying machine. And then the dishes you can outsource to the dishwasher. That costs money, but well worth it. Hey, Steve, how do you like to see your HDL and LDL ratio while on cycle? Ideally 1-to-1, but it's very difficult. But 1-to-2 would be good. So your HDL is like 40 and your LDL is like 80. With the ezetimibe, everything is possible. Currently on test in EQ, HDL is 30, LDL is always around 100 while on cycle. Diet is very clean, 20 minutes cardio daily. Okay, throw in the ezetimibe and then and the citrus bergamot and the berberine, and then you should be good. Any reasons why sweat would smell a little bit like ammonia? Yeah, you're breaking down muscle tissue, so you're training too hard, or you're not eating enough protein. Maybe add in a little bit of essential amino acids intra-workout to prevent that, and reduce your training time, or reduce your training intensity, and reduce the stimulants, because maybe the cortisol release is just too high during the workout. So keep that in mind. Man, there's only 90 people in here. What's going on? Did my channel get muted because I didn't post a video for a week? Oh, by the way, I lost my TikTok account. In case you guys were wondering why the TikTok Guru Q&A was canceled, the TikTok account is gone. But I only had 6,000 followers, so who the fuck cares? Plus, it's TikTok. It's too old for that shit. So yeah, you got to reduce your training intensity, eat a little bit more amino acids, essential amino acids into workout, and maybe eat a little bit more food, and reduce the stimulants. That should reduce or mitigate the ammonia completely. My growth hormone level is 13. IGF-1 is 200. Test done 2 hours after taking 2 IU sub-Q. Yeah, so that's actually pretty high for a growth hormone result. My concern is that after injecting, I get intense hunger for after 50 minutes. Sounds like GHRP6. Can HGH2 give you the kind of hunger? No, most guys would not get intense hunger from growth hormone. If anything, it blunts hunger because it creates lipolysis around the 2-hour mark. And then from a sub-Q shot, it takes a couple hours. Then lipolysis increase free-form fatty acids in the bloodstream should blunt your appetite. So growth hormone levels being that high on 2IUs, it could be from the GHRP6. I would expect that to be significantly lower on a 2IU shot. Yeah. If you do like 3.3 IUs intramuscularly, it would be around 13. But on 2 IUs, yeah, it should be about, I don't know, 8 to 10. So maybe it's GHRP6, man. Yeah. But just switch to GHRP6 and then use that instead. It's probably a lot cheaper. Plan out the blood tests. Probably replying to somebody. I was obese for a while and then dialed it down. Kept my calves. My ex-fatties keep their calves. Yeah, true. Fatties have insane legs. The only thing I miss being 130 kilos, being able to bench press 440 like it was nothing. Oh, holy shit. Iron grade used to be a chunk. Well, get your body fat levels down, keep that muscle mass, and then slay the skinny bitches, man. Yeah, now's your time to shine. You got your own apartment. If I could break the bed in half. Jeremy van der Meer. I'm 6'3", 200 pounds, and 200 test, 200 Primo, and Anavar pre-workouts. Only, I'm assuming, calorie surplus. Very good results. What should I try added to my TRT next cycle to add more mass? NPP, appreciate you, everything you do. Eat more food. Eat more food. I think you can get up to 230 pounds on this protocol if you just eat more food. I made a video about this. I know it sucks. But it's called step-by-step cycle design. That video so good, I did it twice. This video, but the second time I made it, it's even better. It's only 22 minutes. It'll be worth your time. I've linked it down below. So basically, I would just increase your caloric surplus with 10% when you stall, and then increase it with 10% again, and then 10% again, mostly proteins and fats. And at one point, you get to a point where you can reduce your protein intake because protein and fat is, or carbs and fat, sorry, increase your carbs and fats, and then reduce the protein over time because carbs and fat are protein sparing. And when you're in a caloric surplus, you don't need so much protein. So maybe you eat 200 grams of protein and 1,000 grams of carbs, for example, and well, in your case, 100 grams of fat. So, you can add in a little bit of NPP. That's up to you, but I would just milk this dose or this protocol with as much food as you can get. And when you start getting fat, then obviously you can increase the dose. And you can do that by either adding in 50 to 100 milligrams NPP or switch to 300 test, 300 Primo, and instead of 10 milligrams of Anavar, assuming you're using that, to 20 milligrams of Anavar pre-workout, right? Small increment. And then milk that protocol for as long as you can. Or throw in the growth hormone. You can get much better results with growth hormone than increasing the steroid. So I would maybe add in 2 IUs of growth hormone. You'll be 230 in no time. Any Vigorous movie recommendations for this weekend? I can also recommend The Covenant if you guys haven't watched it yet. Yeah, The Covenant was great. Great war movie. Very, I cried like a little girl. Because he got closure, right? So, yeah, Covenant is great. I watched Axel Foley, it was shit. I watched Bad Boys, it was shit. I watched, I didn't even know there was a series about it, but it's called The Intercontinentals, based on John Wick. And then the first 2 episodes I was a little bit bored, but then the third episode it was great. So it's only 3 episodes, they're about 1.5 hours. If you like John Wick, a little bit of a backstory, then just watch the first 3 hours to enjoy the last 1.5 hour. What else did I watch? Well, I'll watch Deadpool tomorrow, and if you guys spoil it for me, then I heard the reviews were a little bit wishy-washy, but well, there's always ways around that and make a movie a little bit more enjoyable than it was meant to be. So I'll be watching that, yeah, on Cloud9 tomorrow and enjoy myself. So I'll watch Deadpool tomorrow. Let's see, what else did I watch? And the 4th season of Snowpiercer. I watched the first 2 episodes, couldn't get into it. And then I have I downloaded something else. I don't know. Everything that I watched recently was kind of trash. So I can't really recommend anything. Maybe Deadpool is trash too, but let's see. I'll be in the cinema and I'll be enjoying myself nonetheless. So no, I have no recommendations. Unfortunately. Maybe it's time to watch some old Denis Villeneuve movies like Arrival, or just watch what is it called? Man, I'm so bad at remembering names. Well, we explained that on Wednesday. Anyway, Denis Villeneuve movies, those are good. Andrew, Steve, are there any natural supplements who can enhance strength besides creatine? Steak and eggs. B vitamins, that's about it. On 150 milligrams test per week, testosterone recipient doctor prescribes. How many times per week should I inject intramuscularly? Technically, my script is written 300 milligrams every 2 weeks. Made me feel like terrible. Family doctors, yeah. I would do 50 milligrams Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Go from intramuscular to sub-Q for more stable levels. Or you go to 21.4 milligrams daily sub-Q. I prefer sub-Q over intramuscular, man. You can do intramuscular, but over decades, the scar tissue build up, and then you lose mobility. I explained this to a powerlifter I had on a consultation, and he's like, yeah, my range of motion and the mobility is not so good. I said, do you do intramuscular? So yeah, in the glutes, quads. And he's like, yeah, okay, switch to sub-Q and contact me again in 6 months. You know? It's man, after I switched sub-Q 2 years ago, I have no more issues with my knees, or minimal, only when I really train hard. So that shit builds up, man. I wish I started with sub-Q from the beginning. You lost your TikTok. How? I don't know. I logged in and it was gone. So maybe somebody reported me. I don't know. I get some videos removed on Instagram also. I mean, we're talking about performance-enhancing drugs here, so it's only a matter of time to before that shit gets muted. I can't even tag people anymore on Instagram. So all those anabolic roundtable shorts that I want to post, they just I can't tag Paul or Kurt as a collaborator, only a regular tag. So this is just social media, man. All right, Matthew, I run 3 days a week and strength training 3 days a week. What do you think about taking Anavar pre-workout on lift days already on testosterone? Well, it might affect your running. So I would switch to Turinabol instead. It seems to be a little bit better for endurance. Let me link the Turinabol video down below while we're at it. Turinabol in this instance, but then again, Turinabol can make you cramp and can give you shin splints. So I know you have the Anavar at home probably already. You're just asking for my approval. I know how it goes. So start with the Anavar, 10 milligrams on workout days. See how that goes. If it hinders your running, then order some Turinabol and keep running the Anavar until the Turinabol arrives, and then switch to 10 milligrams of Turinabol. Give that a run, you know? I mean, testosterone Turinabol will definitely make you cramp. It's like aldosterone synthesis inhibition and leanness galore. Run 3 days a week. And your calves must be shredded. Dumpster Buster also plan asking about smelly sweat suspected the steroids. Yeah, I think ammonia is just muscle breakdown, man. So go easy. Anxious Cowboy, damn, I'm a hard gainer already eating high protein, low carbs, 2,600 calories. Going to have to up it to 3,000 maybe. Yeah, go to 2,860 as a 10% increase. I haven't been training too hard, but I'm a farmer too. Smell like cat pee almost. Gross. Okay, so you're working out physically a lot and you're not eating enough. So just eat more and slowly build that up and maybe switch jobs. I'm not on cycle. Is your ammonia too? Oh, we're talking about the ammonia guy. So yeah, you just got to eat more, man. You're physically active and you're under eating. So just eat more food. Not on cycle. Yeah. Henry Pham, for somebody who doesn't compete, and what body fat percent would you recommend somebody to cut to before bulking? What percent to stop bulking? What? Oh, okay. He doesn't compete. I know I would cut until you're happy, and then you cut a little bit longer because as soon as you start eating, you start holding more water, and then you lose your shape overnight. So I usually diet until I'm like, now I'm really lean, and then you continue for 2 or 3 more weeks, and then you're super lean, right? Leaner than you actually want it to be, even though it does look freaky. But that leanness you can't sustain. So once you start eating food again, and you reintroduce, well, it's not like you're fasting the entire time, but you reintroduce more calories, then you get a little bit watery, you get a little bit of rebound, right? You might have like a couple of days where you eat a little bit more freely because the diet is over. And then you put some body fat back, but now you're at the body fat percentage where you were happy. Now, let's say that's 10%. You diet down to 8, you go back to 10, and then you can sustain that longer. So that's what I would do. And you stop bulking when nobody wants to have sex with you anymore. So what's the fucking point, right? When you're banging your chick, you can't even see your dick. I would stop bulking at 15%, man. I fucking hate being over 15%. But some people feel comfortable over 20%. So again, it depends on you. I just feel unfuckable over 15%. And I'm sure my wife would still fuck me at 15. But I just don't want to do it to her. So, so I keep myself under 15%. It's that simple. Right? You got to be comfortable in your skin. And whatever body fat percentage that is, that's up to you. Can we use GHRP6 for TRC for a lifetime, just like GH and androgen receptors will desensitize? No, I know guys that use GHRP6 for a very long time, but it doesn't seem to desensitize. The results are still pretty much the same. But of course, as you age, growth hormone secretion will come down, and not everybody can deal with the raging appetite. So I know guys that run MK677 for a very long time, or GHRP6, or whatever. But at one point, you just get bored of the stupid hunger, or you get too fat and then you want to cut, and then GH is just the way to go. So, yeah. Next one. Any idea how long high sensitivity C-reactive protein takes to come back down to baseline after seizing the offending substance? About 5 days to 7 days. Usually CRP comes down, but it depends. Like if you injected Deca in Dutchess oil, then it takes about a week for the Dutchess oil to absorb, maybe even 10 days, and then 5 to 7 days after that for C-reactive protein to come down. So it could be a total of 2 weeks or longer even. So I would wait 2 weeks in this case. So if you took Dutchess oil pharmaceutical Deca, then yeah, wait 2 weeks, and then C-reactive protein should be in range. Row 7, developed terrible IF inflammation because I didn't watch the cure all video until now. What's the inflammatory stack for self-induced chondritis? I don't know what that is, but stop the carrier oils that you were injecting, and it will resolve itself in 2 weeks. Right, so you can reduce inflammation faster with curcumin C3 complex, or non-steroidal inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen. But yeah, just take the carrier oils out and it will be down in 2 weeks, man. It will be down in 2 weeks. Bummer that your content is met with suppression, Steve. Well, that's just, freedom of speech is something that doesn't exist on social media. So you just got to keep going, man. Just got to keep going. And I don't have vanilla appeal, so it doesn't really matter. This content is for intelligent people who want to enhance their life. And there's not so many intelligent people who want to enhance their life. So it's fine, dude. It is okay. Anxious Cowboy. I farm for fun as a lifestyle. I need to just shut the fuck up and eat more. I'm going to up the carbs too since SHBG is high. Yeah. So eat more carbs, enjoy yourself, reduce the ammonia smell, and then everything will sort itself out in maybe as little as a week. MP small donation like all the other. What, is somebody spamming? Just fucking mute them, dude. If they're spamming questions, they're asking about super chats. Okay, well, you must be new. Just wait until all the super chats and membership questions are done. It usually takes an hour or 2 hours. And then at the end, you can get your question in. But as long as there's member questions or super chats, I'm going to answer those first because people will support me. I support back with priority. What's the best bang for your buck I can get from a single or 2cc injection once per week? I can't afford GH. Thanks. I have a video on this. Let me see. Is it called bang for your buck? Man. Millimeter. Can't remember what the video is called though. Okay, so off the top of my head, for 2 cc's, 1 cc test, 1 cc Boron. That's testosterone enanthate and Boron andesonate. So you have 250 milligrams for 1 milliliter. Again, if it's normally brewed, but it can be up to 300 milligrams. So if you have 2 cc's to play with, let's say you go with Underground Lab Test E and Boron andesonate, then you have 600 milligrams, 300 milligrams Test E, 300 milligrams Boron, 2 cc's a week. I mean, that's bang for your buck. You can do 1.5 cc's test, 1.5 cc's Boron. Don't even need an AI because Boron will suppress serum estradiol levels. So that would be the most bang for your buck cycle. Minimal side effects. Maybe you need to buy a little bit of GABA. Take 500 milligrams, 1,000 milligrams GABA before bed because Boron can cause anxiety in some people. And that seems to mitigate it. But that's the best bang for your buck cycle, man. A cc of Test E and a cc of Boron and Destiny. Or maybe 1.5 each. All right, next one. Morgan Barbarian. Testing no dairy, Steve, is lactose-free milk so okay? I mean, it's processed food, so I would just avoid it. Is there anything else about dairy that's bad for acne? Apparently, lactose is just pimple food. That's what the bacteria feed on that are part of the acne. So, and processed foods is the same, man. If you see a packaging and it has more than 3 ingredients, then I would just not eat it. Cook your own food, dude. Cook your own food. All those people with terrible acne. I mean, I had acne also when I was on Trenbolone, right? Because I was off cycle. Then I introduced steroids again. And I got a little bit excited. I added in the Trenbolone, but I was eating like it was off cycle. So there was no hormonal fluctuations that I really needed to pay attention. So I had, a little bit of chocolate here and there over the weekend and some donuts and whatever. And now I'm back on cycle. And I even though I'm injecting daily and my hygiene is always on point, because I'm on cycle, I need to be more restricted with the diet because otherwise the pimple just forms. So it is what it is. And it's still, in Dubai and Holland, I had a little bit of food. And even though I brought all my gear with me, don't tell the government. I brought all my gear with me. Fuck it. I know all the exits that are unstaffed. No, in Dubai it's not staffed, but in Dubai they don't really seem to care. But in Holland, there's always one exit that is unstaffed. So you just do a loop and just walk out the one that is unstaffed and you don't have to worry about it. So anyway, back to the story. So I brought my gear with me so I didn't miss any shots. But then on holiday, obviously you're going to do the seafood diet. Just eat whatever you want. Yeah, I got some pimples on holiday too. So it's mostly diet and hormonal fluctuations related. But if you don't have any hormonal fluctuations with daily microinjections, sub-Q, and you follow a very strict, nice, healthy diet, then I don't see a reason why you would have pimples unless your hygiene is absolutely terrible, which is a sin in this day and age. I mean, we're not living in the 1600s, right? So shower. Justice, how long should growth hormone cycle last? I'm using 4 IU daily, currently 1 month in, until finances run out. It's that simple. Thanks. All right, my pleasure. Tikian Lorinx, 400 testosterone, 500 testosterone, 400 Primo, last 6 weeks, 40 milligrams of Anavar per day, I'm assuming. First time doing TRT from this, not a PCT. Some advice on just enough to drop everything and go to 100. No, that's fine. When you're done with this cycle, drop everything and go to 150 milligrams testosterone per week, daily microadministrations, or 50 milligrams Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's totally fine. Side of Clouds, Ron. Not Ron. That's the currency. Side of Clouds. What do you recommend for better heart health? I have minor mitral valve prolapse. I don't know. I'm not a heart specialist, buddy. I'm also feeling fatigued more often than I should. There's general advice that I can give you, but I'm not qualified to give you medical advice when you have mitral prolapse. So I would consult with a cardiologist, but my recommendation for general heart health would be 400 milligrams ubiquinol per day, 5,000 milligrams taurine per day, balanced electrolyte intake, keeping your blood pressure in range, doing daily fasted cardio, obviously having your lipids in range, but you're don't taking any performance-enhancing drugs, so I don't think that's an issue. And otherwise, eat better. And then there's PQQ, Parolo, Quinolene, Quinone, 40 milligrams per day, 20 milligrams morning and evening with your ubiquinol. Shilajit fulvic acid, 250 milligrams with your ubiquinol. So that's twice per day, 500 milligrams in total. And then vitamin D3. That's basically it. You might have to rewind this, but again, I'm not qualified to give out medical advice. If you have a medical issue, that's what we have medical professionals for. And I might put you on a beta blocker, but that's for them to decide. Thymosin alpha 1 versus TB500. Well, there's a lot more scientific evidence on thymosin alpha 1 or thymosin beta 4 than TB500. There's literally 2 or 3 studies on human subjects on thymosin beta 4 or on TB500. And all of the other studies are performed on thymosin alpha 1. I haven't really looked into it yet. I did a video on TB500 and then I realized that all the scientific evidence is elsewhere. So I just made a short video, but nobody really seemed to care. So I didn't do a follow-up thymosin beta 4 or alpha 1 video. Because, well, if there's demand, I'll make it, but otherwise it just gets dumped into the pipeline. And I'll focus on other videos instead. GHRP guy, more questions. Hunger is not a concern. Feeling coming from an OCD mind will my growth hormone go zero at some point? No, because you're stimulating the production. Or is it enough with TRT as getting real? No, just keep, if finding real growth hormone is hard for you, then just keep running the GHRP6 and maximize that, and maybe take a month off here and there. But I think you can run these compounds pretty long periods of time. There's no real desensitization, same as with hCG at higher dosages. Unless you're using progestogenic 19-NORs, which I mentioned in the hCG deep dive. What you would be wise to do is watch the growth hormone cheat sheet video where I discuss and the growth hormone secretagogue versus pharmaceutical growth hormone. I'll link them down below. Because those basically discuss everything you would like to know, and then you can keep your rupiahs in your pocket. Let's see, can curcumin block DHT for people on cycle? Yeah, I've heard something like that curcumin can reduce DHT levels. It can also block iron absorption. But is it potent enough to really offset hair loss? Probably not. Octavian, what's up? Hey, Steve, what could be causing gyno on nandrolone only? Any tips for combating this? Well, the progestogenic signaling or an increase in prolactin or a presence of estradiol. So any tips to combat this is do blood work, see what the problem is, and then take affirmative action. Because maybe your estrogen is high from neurosteroid synthesis, right? DHA converting into testosterone and then estradiol. Maybe it's progestogenic signaling, so that means that maybe serum progesterone levels are elevated, even though nandrolone doesn't detect as progesterone. Or prolactin is elevated. So do blood work and then assess from there. And if estrogen is low and progesterone is low and prolactin is low, then it's just the progesterone interacting with the progesterone receptor in the nipple, causing inflammation. And then you need to take the nandrolone out and look somewhere else. Austin Sager tried to conceive on TRT, 200 milligrams microdose daily. LH was 0.2, FSH was 0.7, doing semen test. What do I need to take? Trying for a year now. Yeah, well, do a semen test. You might not be completely azoospermic, but the morphology and motility will probably be very, very bad. So you might have sub 20 million sperm per 1 milliliter. And then the morphology is 10% and or less than 4%, and progressive motility is 10%, right? So they're going straight, and 10% are going straight to the egg, and then less than 4% of them have normal shape. So less than 4% of the 10% can actually penetrate the egg, and that's why it's taking such a long time. So what you need is 1,000 IUs hCG every other day, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and 75 IUs FSH every day. Do that for 6 months. If your progressive morphology and motility is not better to the point it's within the World Health Organization standards, so that's a progressive motility of 40% and a morphology of, I forgot it already. World Health Organization 2010 semen or fertility criteria. Semen. Is that here? Is this a study? God, why isn't it easy to find, bro? Here it says semen volume needs to be at least 1.5%. Sperm concentration at least 15 million per milliliter. So that's about 22 in total. Sperm total motility 40%, but it's not progressive. And normal morphology at least 4%. Well, it could be a lot better than that. So if it's not within World Health Organization standards within 6 months, then you need to come off cycle and throw in a boatload of antioxidants. But don't worry, at one point there will be a video about it, but I gotta wait until my wife is pregnant, because without pregnancy, there's no title, How to Get Your Wife Pregnant After Decades of Steroids. Well, I gotta put the proof in the pudding. Put the butt in the oven first. I'm a little disappointed. I wanted to see a full blood lord after you're coming back from your holiday. Yeah. So surprisingly, I stayed in shape, but I'm fasting now for 4 days. So what do you expect after 4 days of vegetables only and growth hormone and 5-amino-1-MQ and Mirabegron and thyroid medication and all the bullshit under the sun. So I did get a little bit fat. I held it together until I met Wesley Vissers, and then after that I had the wedding and I ate a lot of bitterball and other garbage foods. And I think by that time I wasn't really training much anymore either and drinking a lot. So I was a little bit watery and kind of chunky when I came back. But then new fat is very easy to diet off. So I'm just as lean now as I left. So tomorrow I'll have a cheat meal. I might take some pictures. Maybe I should take a diuretic and take some pictures. I ate a lot of food, man. But I also walked a lot. 15,000 steps, 20,000 steps on average. It was not a holiday again. I can't help myself. I just need to go to a resort and lay on the beach, but I get bored. After a day, I like, what can you do at the beach? You can drink cocktails and smoke a cigar, or maybe pair the cigar with a proper whiskey, obviously. You have some cocktails first, and then you have your whiskey and your cigar. But then after 2 days of that, I'm bored as fuck, dude. So I walked a lot in Dubai. I walked a lot in Holland, did a lot of sightseeing, did some shopping in Amsterdam with my sister. Went around Leiden, where the wedding was. I went around Dubai Mall and a couple other malls in Dubai, even though the shopping is kind of shit. So we were walking a lot, but my hands were empty because I didn't buy anything. I bought 2 polos in Dubai. That's it. My wife didn't buy anything. So for shopping, I would say I'm mad disappointed. Shopping in Vegas is 10 times better. But yeah, when you're shopping a lot or looking for shit to buy, and again, me and my wife are kind of over the whole seafood diet already. So we might have had a donut here, but most of the time we just cooked our own meals. We had an Airbnb in Dubai Mall next to the Kempinski Hotel, same building, and just cooked breakfast and lunch, maybe some snacks here and there, and then we had a nice dinner at Meat and Co. Just steak, hamburger, some nice dessert, an atmosphere, 7 dishes or something, 3 appetizers, 3 mains, and then and then we had 3 desserts. So that's 9. 9 rounds. I really wanted to get a table there, so I sent them an email, say I want to have a window seat. I agreed to the 700 AEDs per person minimum spend, so AED to US dollars. I mean, it's insane. So it's 1,400 AEDs. So minimum spend was $380, and we had a 280 down payment, so that's about $55. Yeah, so minimum spend was $1,400. Like, don't worry about the minimum spend, right? I didn't know how busy the place was. It was like half full, so I didn't have to say that we were going to have an anniversary dinner there just to get a dinner, the window table. I said, I agreed to the minimum spend of 1,400 AEDs. We'll probably spend more because it's our anniversary and we expect to have some cocktails. So they remembered that like 2 months when I made the reservation and the down payment. So when the bill came, there was an extra cake. Good fucking service. But the bill was also twice as much as the minimum spend. It was 2,700 AEDs or $730. Yeah, plus the down payment. Well, once a year. Once a year. It was worth it though. The hamburger was not so good. It was not worth the hamburger. But the hamburger at Meat and Co. in the souk next to the Burj Khalifa, that one was. Do I have a picture of that? That one was a fuck, man. That burger was almost as good as the hamburger that I ate with Chase Irons. That was also an expensive dinner, but I guess Chase Irons paid for that. He's like, yeah, my tax guy is really good. I'll pay for this one. So I'm not gonna say no to a free dinner, Chase. Where's that hamburger from Meat and Co? Is it? See it here. Man, this thing So normally you have a hamburger, right? And then of course I split it with my wife. Now we're going to into the Dubai rant. Don't worry, we'll get to the questions. So normally you have a hamburger and you split it, right, with the wife, or maybe she eats like 1/3, I eat 2/3. Same as how we split the bill. Fuck. Actually, I paid for this entire holiday. So I split the hamburger like 1/3 for her, 2/3 for me, and then it already starts to fall apart. But you're in a nice posh restaurant, all dressed up, looking good, so you don't want to eat with your hands. So you start slicing the hamburger, and then at one point it falls apart, right? It kind of destroys itself, and then you're eating chunks and trying to. But this one, it stayed perfectly in place, like a fucking pastry. So me and my wife were like, "Oh, that's good." Like they packed this burger like perfectly. The bun was perfect, the patty was perfect, the condiments were perfect, and it just stayed the same. So after a while, I just had a slice like you're cutting granite, and you see all those layers of like at one of those parks, right, where they have the rivers running through the mountains. You see all those layers of sediment. So do I have a picture of that? Probably not. But yeah, this hamburger at Meat and Co. This one stayed perfectly centered. I'm a terrible vlogger, so I usually just take a food picture and that's it. This is the cake that we had. You probably can't see it. It's like tiers of small cakes. They're about this big. So anyway, I really tried to eat as much as I can. One more thing that I got to show you guys. I'm not even sure if I took a picture of that, but maybe my wife. No, I didn't. This was kind of embarrassing. I went to Zouk Zouk inside Dubai Mall, Lebanese place. And then I was very hungry. My wife was also very hungry. I just had eggs for breakfast. And then we cooked some beef at the hotel room, right? Because this was one of the last days. We're kind of lazy, seen everything already, went to the gym already, did all the shopping already. So we're just kind of chilling at home, relaxing. And then at one point we got really, really hungry. So we went to Zouk Zouk or Zuzu, Lebanese place. And we order like a mix, 3 or 4 different hummuses. So in the picture, like, okay, this is a nice portion, like a small dish, and you get some pita bread on the side, and then you start as an appetizer, and then we'll have the mixed grill family size. Because in Thailand, you get the jumbo mixed grill, that's family size. That's perfect for me and my wife, right? We eat a lot if you only have 2 meals, which is mostly protein and vegetables based during the day. So first, the hummus arrives. It's like this, but 4 of them. So I already start laughing, and my wife's like, "Oh God, here we go." So I popped some Xenicol, right, to blunt the fat absorption because I knew it was going to be sloppy. And then the family portion, and the waiter already warned us. That, yeah, the family portion is very, very big. So it was a meter wide, dude. A fucking meter wide. Just all Lebanese grilled food. I'm like, shit. And then like Western families sat next to her, and Arab families, and probably an African family sat next to her. It was like a family restaurant. They sit next to us and they look at this come to our table and they all stare at us. So what do? Frontal massive, baby. So don't worry, I'm going to eat all of it. We couldn't eat all of it. So I had to take some home. That's the first time I had to take food home in a very, very, very long time. Finished all the hummus though. Not gonna let that sit, man. You can't take that home. But the meat we took home. But the next day we flew back, so I only had a couple bites. Later in the night. Then not the day that I flew back because I wanted to fast. I wanted to fast on Monday flying back, but then they upgraded us to business class. From Dubai to Amsterdam. No, from Amsterdam to Dubai on the way back. So I was like, you know what? Business class in Emirates is very, very good. I'm gonna eat whatever the fuck they have on offer. So they bring you a menu, and it's the first time flying business class, mind you. I flew business class, short flights, when I was like 6 years old with my dad. He got like air miles because he was working a lot as a business consultant. So he upgraded the entire family to when we flew to France. So that's what 1.5 hours to business class while he sat in economy and just laughed because he always flew business class. So he's like, yeah, you guys go do the business class thing. So I flew business class twice in my life, and this was the second time. So I enjoyed it to the max. I got all the nice food of Emirates. It was absolutely stellar. I actually got to lay down in business class. The seat goes all the way down, so I was able to sleep on my side. And I had 3 old fashions. Yeah, so I arrived in Dubai pretty tipsy. And then I had 2 meals from Dubai to Holland. The first meal got served, and I was like, you know what, I'm pretty hungry. Can I have another meal? And she's like, yes, of course, sir. Emirates service is the absolute best. So I had 2 meals there, and some extra nuts, mixed nuts, and a lot of drinks. So obviously, I arrived mad bloated Tuesday, even though I had compression socks. I was so bloated, dude. But that also gives you motivation to fast. All right. That was the question of Mr. H2O. Let's get back to the drug questions. Octavian, missed the last Q&A, but watched the Wolverine. How was Holland, coach? It looks you brought something from there with you. It looks like you brought something there with you. What do you mean? I brought a souvenir, but I don't know. You guys can see it's not that bad. Yeah, still have some fat. We'll get that off. We'll get that off from the Mr. Olympia. Yeah, when you take a lot of growth from on your water at the end of the day, whether you fast or not. I brought Lego back. I brought all my Lego back. Yeah, I had like 15 kilos or 12 kilos of Lego that I mixed in my wife's bag and my bag, and that's all back now. I brought some clothes. That's about it. Emperor Shreve, thoughts on giving my 83-year-old grandma with broken arm and dementia IGF? No, I can't answer this, and you know it. So you're gonna have to figure this out for yourself, buddy. Henry Pham, 250 milligrams test, 150 milligrams Primo on a cut. Is 20 milligrams Anavar overkill to finish out the cut on not yet single digits? Or I'd start with 10. Get the maximum result out of that, and then go to 20 when you really start to get tanked on the cut. You know, if you're not single digits yet, I think 10 milligrams is enough. Just keep dieting. You can always increase. You can always increase. After dark. Currently on test SIP, 140 milligrams per week. I want to add in growth hormone peptide, sermorelin, or upamorelin. Is there something more preferable? Tesamorelin, sermorelin, or ipamorelin all seem to be good. I already linked the growth hormone secretagogue deep dive video with the protocols. It's linked down below. I can't remember for the life of me what the best protocols are for these secretagogues because I use real fucking growth hormone like a man. And I hate to say it, but I just fucking hate these secretagogues, man. But if that's what you have access to, well, you asked me, is there something more preferable? Yeah, 2A use of real growth hormone. That's more preferable. And it's probably cheaper because these peptides are not cheap, dude. Dude, you can get good generics for $1 to $2 per unit. So you're either spending $4 on quality generics or $8 on quality pharmaceutical growth hormone. That's usually $4 to $5 per unit. And that might still be cheaper than getting a good amount of growth hormone response from sermorelin or ipamorelin. It's not cheap, you know. All right, $50. There we go. Please do a Kratom deep dive. No, sorry. Even though you paid $50, I don't like Kratom. I've helped too many people come off Kratom. They had an addiction first, and they switched to Kratom. They were able to get off their addiction, and now they're addicted to Kratom. So I don't really like Kratom. Sorry. If you want to use it once in a while, fine. But there's much better channels for recreational drugs out there. I don't think Kratom has a place in bodybuilding unless it's once in a while. You know, I'm all for occasional use of recreational drugs, but everybody that I know that takes Kratom takes it daily. You know, so. People don't know about the heavy metals and the actions on serotonin. They can't use ibogaine to quit due to serotonin activity. Lots of fitness companies peddling this, and addiction can be crippling. Okay, yeah, so this is the reason why I don't want to do a deep dive, because then it just sounds like preaching. And all the other deep dives, I recommend safer practices, but I don't think there's a safe way to run Kratom unless you do it infrequently. So just like LSD or MDMA or cocaine or whatever recreational drugs you prefer, if you want to run MDMA twice a year or once a year, go for it. You want to do microdoses LSD or mushrooms over the weekend? Go for it. Or a small dose Kratom over the weekend, or some alcohol or weed over the weekend. Just not every fucking day, guys. If you want to use something every day, use something that's bioidentical to your body or very, very similar. You know, and even then, if you want to use a cutting phase drug, you use that for 6 to 8 weeks. You know, I know people that use like 2, 3, 5, 10 grams of Kratom per day, and they need so much cerebrolysin to get out of it, you know. And the heavy metals, you also run risk from food or from underground labs, or you know, Trenbolone and some of the other performance enhancing drugs have negative interactions with serotonin or can cause anhedonia. So all drugs have risks. Just Kratom, it's not something for this channel, man. It's not some, this is performance enhancing drugs. There's nothing about Kratom that's performance enhancing. And the people that claim that it's performance enhancing are either selling it or they're addicted. So, all right. The secret to eat a burger is to turn it upside down. Yes, I know. But when you're in a posh restaurant where you dress up for, then you're not going to flip it upside down and eat it. That's for Five Guys or In-N-Out Burger or McDonald's, whatever. If you go to a nice restaurant and you're dropping $50 or more on a nice hamburger with Wagyu beef, then you're not going to stick that in your hands. No, you're going to cut that just like you cut the steak. Yeah. The granite burger. That's right. Are we that far behind? 10 minutes. All right. Molfredo. Oni-chan. Oni-chan. Yamete. If you know, you know, right? Can I combine testosterone cypionate with Primo in the same syringe, or should I pin it twice? No, that's what I do. I mix it in the same syringe, and then it goes in once per day in the same syringe. Or I mix it in the same sterile vial, and then I draw with the same syringe. So just, it should be fine. I combined castor oil with cottonseed oil. I've combined castor oil with MCT oil with castor oil. Just don't combine oil with water. And even that I've done on my first cycle. Tisprop in ethyl oleate and Zambon Winstrol suspension in water. Not a good idea, but luckily I didn't get an infection. Yeah. But yes, this guy says you can mix them. And so do I. Now we're at the hummus dish. We're really behind again. All right. How long after my last meal should I wait before bedtime growth hormone injection, you mean? To not negatively affect insulin sensitivity. Don't worry about it. Just train. Dude, I shoot 10 IU's growth hormone about an hour before I go to bed, and I wake up with normal fasting insulin levels, and my hemoglobin A1C hasn't budged yet. So don't worry about it too much. If you live the lifestyle and you do daily fasted cardio and you eat healthy, the insulin sensitivity should not affect you. Yeah, the Lego smuggler. I wondered how that would look in the X-ray machine. I had all these little baggies because it's all pre-sorted, and then I put it in a cabinet where it's just all sorted. So all the figurines are with themselves, and all the little corners are with themselves, and all the transparent tiles are with themselves. So I had all these little baggies that I brought with me, and then one layer of my suitcase was full with Lego, and my wife too. And yeah, I wonder how that looked on the X-ray machine. But they also didn't catch all the cigars. I brought cigars back. That's what I also brought back. I went to the shop and they're like, you can buy all the Cohiba number 5s. They had 5 left, so I bought all 5. And then I bought another 4 Siglos. And then I brought a B&H or B&K 42. Spent too much money. But I had a good time. Baradur is not the Lego that I want. I wanted the Lego Deku tree. So yeah, I will pre-order that. But I called the Lego store, the official Lego store here in Serum Paragon in Thailand, and they might have it in stock, but they'll know about 5 days before. So if they won't stock it in time, I'll just order it online and have it sent to my shipping forwarder, and then ship it into Thailand. It'll take about 3 weeks. But if they have it available here through the Lego store officially, then yes, please, I'll take 2. Yeah, so I only have to build it once. But Baradur, no. I just want the Lego tree or the Deku tree, and that's it. MS, potential home monitoring, harm reduction for monitoring left ventricular hypertrophy. Garmin Apple smartwatches can do ECG measuring. Large airwaves can indicate left ventricular hypertrophy, could be indicated before seeing a doctor. Okay, I didn't know about that. Okay, that's good. That's good to know. Apple Smart. My wife has an Apple smartwatch. I'll ask her to see if there's an ECG measuring. Then again, it's ECG, electrocardiogram is not the most accurate. And even then, when you do it at the hospital, you get like multiple electrodes. So how accurate that is, I would still recommend everybody to do an echo yearly and an electrocardiogram yearly, and then take it from there, just to stay in the loop. On this Deca search, any idea why underground labs would use ethyl oleate and MCT oil but not grapeseed oil? I don't know, man. It's just easier to dissolve shit. Tried both and MCT painful nodules for days. Grapeseed oil, nothing. Blood's coming soon. Yeah, some guys just brew better in MCT oil, and it really depends on which grade they're using, right? I mean, not every MCT oil is the same. There's USP grade MCT oil and cooking grade. I mean, we're just lazy. Use cooking grade. Steve, do you think Meldronate is worth it to enhance leg day performance? No, this is mostly for endurance, and you need to take it for a multitude of different days. This is not a one-day thing. If you want to improve leg day performance, use Bemetil or Hypoxin or Amoxapine, but Meldronate takes a couple days to build up because it inhibits carnitine synthesis and then shifts energy production to glucose, right? Just the Krebs cycle and glycolysis and that kind of stuff. So no, Meldronate is not a 1 day per week thing. If you want to enhance your leg day, Bemetil and Anadrol and Anabolics Anonymous injectable pre-workout, and then you have a much better experience. By the way, I wanted to share my experience with thiamine derivative, TTFD, okay? I was able to completely annihilate depressive feelings. Okay, never heard about that. TDFD, thiamine. Is that something you can buy? Thiamine tetrahydrofurfuryl disulfide is a derivative of thiamine with higher bioavailability and solubility than thiamine or thiamine. So it's a better version of B1. All right, you can buy that over the counter, it seems. So that's good to hear. Right, next one, Tim Schultz. Went on a cycle, 500 tests per week. Blood pressure went too high, so went back to TRT, 175 milligrams per week. Estrogen is fine. The bivalent telmisartan won't help. Face still looks bloated. Week 20 of TRT, help. Magnesium deficiency. That is my first assumption. So start with 100 milligrams with meals, bump it up to 200 milligrams per meals if you don't get diarrhea from that much magnesium, and look into your other electrolytes. So like if nebivolone telmisartan is not helping with your blood pressure, then it's clearly a micronutrient deficiency. That's what I would look first. And if your face is still bloated, then maybe fast for a couple days. I mean, look at my face. It's not bloated at all. Just stop eating for a day or two, but increase the magnesium intake. And then maybe that will sort itself out. Maybe you have high inflammatory state from the testosterone that you're taking. Maybe that's an underground lab with synthetic carrier oil. So besides checking your estrogen, check your high sensitivity C-reactive protein, check your serum magnesium. But even though serum magnesium might be in range, you might still be magnesium deficient. And then take some vitamin K and vitamin D3 to help with channeling into the right areas. So that's the first thing I would look into. And you might be able to resolve your magnesium deficiency in as little as a week or two by megadosing the magnesium. But stop eating for a day. It will improve your blood pressure and remove your bloating quite substantially. Stack for cutting alcohol. Travel to Kuwait, where alcohol is banned, or another Arab country where alcohol is banned. When I went to Kuwait, my bag got searched, and Tony's bags got searched, and everybody else that we went to got searched. And they were not looking for performance-enhancing drugs, but they were looking for alcohol. Hilarious. Bemetil, Meldronate, and Amoxapine are all prescribed in the Russia for alcohol addiction. So maybe look into that. Yeah, maybe look into that. Can't imagine being allergic to MCT. No, it's just some formulations are shit. You know, you go with a different brands and other people get normal response. It's just how they make it. Andrew, I'm 180 centimeters, 102 kilos, 14% body fat, 150 milligrams testosterone per week. Would you recommend to keep bulking or make now a cut to prevent even higher body fat? Well, 14% is not the end of the world, but you're creeping up there. So it's kind of up to you, right? Summer is almost over, but I would say you wouldn't survive the entire winter to bulk. So maybe do a mini cut to get yourself down to 12% and then bulk over winter, unless you live in New Zealand or Australia where winter is summer and vice versa. But then you would, is Australia in these metrics? Not sure. Yeah, so I cut down to 12% over the next 2 months and then bulk the rest of the time. And then at one point you'll be too fat for comfort, and that's when you increase the PEDs. Smuggler. Yeah. Yeah, I took PEDs with me and back. Oh, well. Have you been in deep trouble or close to it when traveling processing gear? No. So when I go to the US, obviously you don't bring it. There's steroid-phobic countries and countries where you have a little bit of leeway. So I went to Dubai now 4 times. I got my back searched 1 time. I had 2 ampules of testosterone with me, one for Dubai, one for Holland, because I was on my way to Holland. They asked me, what is this? I said, this is my hormone replacement. I need 1 ampule per week. I'm here for 1 week, and I'm in Holland for 1 week. So that's what I brought. I didn't ask for any prescriptions or anything. In Holland, I don't give a shit. It's just a fine. So, and even then, I have a prescription for testosterone. So, it just don't even bother bringing it with me. And I brought way more than a prescription is worth. Plus, I mixed my test with Primo, and I brought my Anavar and my fucking Xenicol and my Metformin. I just brought everything with me. It's some countries you can get away with it. Like in Holland, I have the same passport, so you would just get a fine, it would get confiscated, and you get a fine. Well, that's fine, it's worth it. And in Dubai, it doesn't really nobody really seems to care there. So, but if I go to the US or Australia or Sweden or other countries, China, for example, China didn't bring anything. No, man, I don't want to get a fine there. Japan, I didn't bring anything. Don't want to get a fine there. It'll just put you in jail and like to make an example of you. So depends on the country. And in Thailand, well, Thailand's not a big deal to bring steroids in. So it's I know a guy. So it really depends on where you travel to. Sean Sullivan, what's up, bro? Hey, coach. Glad you're back. Late to the party today. Is there any benefits to using ITTP or Cardarine once in a while before a timed run, for example? Yeah, so I would run it. The ITTP takes some time to build up, right? Because it increases the oxygen carrying affinity of the hemoglobin within the red blood cells. So I would run it for at least, ideally you run it for 3 months, dude. And the Cardarine, you would get an immediate effect, right? Through the PPR activation. So you could run that. But honestly, if you're doing a timed run for longer than 60 to 90 minutes, then I would run not run Cardarine because you burn through your fat stores quite fast, unless you're doing it in a fasted state. So I would rather do something that helps with carbohydrate metabolism. So, but you can use Cardarine if the run is less than 60 minutes, 90 minutes. But ITTP, you need to run for longer periods of time. So you have a loading phase and then a maintenance phase. I can't exactly remember what the protocol was, but that is a long-term thing. Yeah, that doesn't just increase the oxygen carrying capacity of your hemoglobin overnight, unfortunately. Lift, wheat, 8 of 16, 360 tests, 180 DECA, 540 Primo, 10 milligrams Anavar pre-workout. For you splits over the day, 100 micrograms IGF-1 L3, 208 pounds, 15.7% body fat. Is there a question? Is there a question? Or a statement? I don't know. It's sounds like a lot of gear for that body weight, unless you're 5'4". So, I don't know. But everybody's different. Any thoughts on dihydro married to alcohol in 13 years? You support? I had never heard of this compound. I don't know. Steve, are you going to the Mr. Olympia this year? Yes, I'll be there for an entire 10 days in Vegas. Yes. Side of Clouds, how much do you spend on supplements, PEDs per month? The supplements are free, but I use, because you guys use my iHerb discount code, and I buy most of my supplements from iHerb, or I get most of my supplements from iHerb or Gorilla Mind, which also sponsors me, so they give me free supplements. But I have to guess, I think I spend about $250 to $300 on supplements. And PEDs, some of that I get for free. $500 with the growth hormone, maybe a little bit more. Let's say I spend less than $1,000 on supplements and PEDs per month. Yeah. All right, with the injectable NAD plus, yeah, probably maybe $1,300. I'd have to do a calculation, but it's, let's say, around $1,000 a month. Yeah, quite a lot. Quite a lot of money. But if you look into a percentage of my income, it's single digit. So it's okay. A single digit percentage of my income I spent on supplements and performance enhancing drugs. Yeah. How can long can I run that, and how to pyramid down? Oh, this the protocol that you asked. So he wants to know how long I can run this. You don't need to pyramid down because Primo Deca tests, they're all self-tapering. Once you're done with this cycle, well, you already planned the 16-week cycle, so you're halfway now. Get yourself up to 240 pounds, man, because for this cycle, you should be 240 pounds, not 210 at 16% body fat. So you should be able to recomp to 14% and end up at 230 pounds in the next 8 weeks. And otherwise, you're just not eating correctly or dieting or training hard enough. And then you go into 200 test, 2 IUs growth hormone, and run that until your blood work parameters are good again. I would have rather have you do half this dose for the first 16 weeks and then increase the dose to this dose that you just mentioned for the next 16 weeks, or you're on a nice fat cycle for 26 weeks or 32 weeks and completely transform. 16-week cycle seems a bit short to me, but that's okay. How do you use injectable NAD+? If so, what dose and frequency? I use 200 milligrams intravenously every week. But if you only have access to intramuscular or subcutaneous administrations, I would do, I don't know, maybe 25 milligrams, 50 milligrams sub-Q every day, something like that. Yeah, I just do it IV with my glutathione and vitamin C and B vitamins. Good shit. Dolmatov, hey Steve, I hope you're well. Just came in saying hello. I've been missing a bunch of your streams, but soon I will come back with more questions, I think, next cycle. All right. Well, you're always welcome too because you're a member. So hope to see you back soon. I'm going to the Olympia next year as my 50th birthday trip. I'll try to be 220 pounds lean. Yeah, I should be there. I think I'm going to go every year, man. But it'll be short trips, like a week or something. But I'm part of the fitness industry, so it's the least I can do is show my face at the Mr. Olympia. Have fun. Hey Steve, why did my ALT marker go up to 81 units per liter when I was at 500 test 600 Primo per week? Can't really find good info on Primo affecting the liver. Weird question. It could be rhabdomyolysis, right? So where's your serum creatinine? Where was your creatine phosphokinase? And your AST marker? Or was only your ALT this high? I know, it sounds like muscle damage from getting kicked or something. It's a bit hard to tell by, Togi Stogie, you're out of here forever. I see the same fucking question all the time. Get the fuck out of here. Stop spamming. So I need to know your other markers before I know what's going on. All right. Luke, that means 100K Steve is a baller. Greg Cokehead levels of balling. Well, I'm doing okay. But baller, I am not. Because I invest all the money that I don't spend. Okay, I did a little bit of baller stuff in Dubai, but once in a while, I invest, man. Guys, let's have a look where crypto is because we might be at an all-time high now with the Bitcoin conference. Is it? Yeah, it's pushing to get 69,000. So I bought in at right before the holiday around 55,000, and now we're at let's say 70,000 at the peak, maybe 71,000 after the weekend. That might be a point of sale. And then with this, how much percent is that? Let me whip up. Sorry, guys, I gotta whip up my. What is the percentage since 55? If I sell it 71, give or take, let's say 70. 27% gains. The free holiday and then some right there. Yeah, it might go to 50K. Let's see what happens at 70 or 71K. Like, it's in its downward channel, right? So if it gets rejected at 70, 71Ks, it wouldn't surprise me if it retests 55, maybe even 52. And it like, we're not in this end of the year rally yet. Like, that usually happens in September. Now, it could break through and then retest about the trend line and then start rallying. But August is usually a time it's too early to rattle. Usually it starts rallying in September, October, December, a little bit of a pause there, and then maybe January, February, again, based on the previous charts. So I would say that a rally in August can happen. Maybe after a Bitcoin conference and some new news, it will just slowly break through this resistance. But I would say it's too early. So I'm going to trade like it's going to come back down to 55, 52. And if not, then, well, I'll get back in at the retest. You know, and whether it retests at 55 or at 73, it doesn't fucking matter. I mean, for trading, you trade chances. I could have held it longer, dude. I've made, by trading, I've made so much more than just by holding. It's yeah. Well, we're gonna keep trading until we have fuck you money, and then we'll take some real profits. But until then, it's right where it's supposed to be, making money while I sleep. You go on holiday, you keep watching the charts, it keeps going up. And then that dinner at Atmosphere doesn't really matter. Yeah. Giving out some red envelopes while you're in Holland. Like, what is this? So, I love you. So what do you mean? Just open it when you go on holiday. And then you get the phone call, crying. That's what you do it for, man. Yeah. This is way too much. That is why we work hard. That kind of shit. That kind of shit. I would say between 125 to 290. So I'm gonna start laddering out from those points on. Which just means laddering out, and then if it retests on the 8-week moving average, on the 20-week moving average, then I'm gonna put it right back in and wait for the next rally. Hell yeah. I'm curious, why do you think polyunsaturated fat is... Oh, here we go again. I don't want to hear this shit. I don't want to hear... I mentioned this in the Carrier Deep Owl video. Stop listening to all these carnivore guys. Eat healthy. Carnivore guys aim for a crowd that has been so miserable and so self-abusive their entire lives that every little thing is now toxic, when in reality it was just their lifestyle. You can eat PUFAs, don't worry about it. You can inject PUFAs, don't worry about it. You're not going to die. It's fear-mongering from the carnivore crowd. And they're aiming towards the lowest common denominator, the most pathetic of the industry that really abuse themselves with food. And then suddenly, vegetables are terrible. Shut the fuck up, man. Go eat a bag of dicks. Oh, oxalates. Go, fuck off, dude. Why didn't I invest in AMD and NVIDIA when I was 6 years old? Yeah. Yeah, when I look at AMD and NVIDIA now, I feel the same way. But I know people who invested in NVIDIA and they're up like 10x. So it just invest in what you feel comfortable with, man. I feel comfortable with cryptos. Tesla, yeah, and Tesla is kind of also in a downward, but I'm sure we'll rally at one point. How much money is fuck you money? $50 million. That's fuck you money. Then I already calculated it. $50 million. If you have that cash or in assets, you can buy a new house, send your kids through college, and never have to work in your life. So until that time, I'm just going to keep working, and then at one point I'll hit 50 million, and I'll probably still work, but less, so nobody knows that I reached 50 million. But I'll just show my face less. Yeah. And never brag about it on social media, man. A couple nice dinners here and there, but don't show your Lambos or your big fat house. That's not something you do. So you just pull a Derek, more plates, more dates. Doesn't matter where he goes. The backdrop is still the same. Yeah, who knows? Maybe I already live in a fat mansion. No, that's not true. Should have mined Bitcoin in uni. Yeah, dude, it's when you think about that, like hindsight is 2020. But I should have kept all this Bitcoin that I spent on DNP and anabolic androgenic steroids back in the day. I did way more BTC transactions back in the day than I have currently in my portfolio. Yeah. Yeah, never reveal your power. Never. You can talk about it. I think it's okay to talk about financial security as an inspiration point, but how much money you have or flaunting it, I mean, it just makes you look dumb. So it's what I learned in Dubai. Like everybody's flaunting their money, right? And they all seem miserable. All these people there seem miserable, just annoyed, miserable, not happy when they walk out of the Gucci store. So, in my opinion, even if you have money, just live your life like you don't own shit. And that's why I like stocks and not real businesses. Because stocks you can liquidate. And if you don't own a lot, you can always liquidate. Like this house is empty, dude. I don't own all my clothes when I'm tired with this one I like a lot. But all my clothes I give away. All my stuff I give away. It's just baggage. Assets or material things that hold no power, just baggage, basically. So the only baggage that I have now is a wife and 7 cats, and at one point a kid, you know. But even those I could bring with me, you know. But a house you can't bring with me. I have to sell. So even though I will build a nice house at one point from the cryptocurrency profits, that will not be from the YouTube, right? All the money that I ever earned on YouTube or through this YouTube channel, 90% or 80% or whatever, 50% at least, every month I put into assets, whether that's stocks or cryptocurrency or other, you know, appreciable assets. Because I'm not a big spender. I'm a good earner, but I'm not a big spender. So, are there a lot of fake rich gurus in Dubai? Well, yes. Of course, they'll flock to Dubai so you can pretend to be rich, right? I mean, Dubai is very Instagram friendly. Every restaurant I went, you know, and I take a couple pictures, right? Half of the place I went to, I didn't even take pictures, but I'm there to enjoy the moment with my wife, dude. Not through this. Oh, look at this nice dinner, and then brag about it on social media, and then other people who are not in this financial position will just feel bad, just like I felt bad when I was not in this financial position and looked at other people eating at expensive restaurants. So, you know, but I worked hard for it. So at one point you got to do that stuff, and it's not like I'm doing it every weekend. But you see all these people and they're just living through their phone, bragging about it on social media. I'm like, what the fuck is the point? You're sitting at the highest restaurant in the world. You're having all this great food, these great services. Put the fucking phone down and enjoy the moment. Revel in your, you know, moment of success. Like, I can finally afford this shit. It's overpriced. It's disgustingly expensive. But in this moment, I'm going to enjoy it because in the year leading up to this moment, I grinded 80 hours a week. All right. So instead of, I put the phone down. My wife put the phone down. We only took a couple pictures. That's it. That's it. Yeah. All right. Anyway, let's answer some more questions before I start rambling about myself. I'm getting my finance degree in January, so I appreciate this talk. Hobby is biochem, but these things are very important here. Yeah, finance is there's a couple things, health and finance, and I think if you got those two mastered, then you're on the very well track, right? Because health prevents you from addiction, and finances allows you to maintain your health. So, you know, but if you don't care about your health and you have the finances, guess what? Cocaine is very cheap, or whatever, or whatever is whatever drug of choice is very cheap. As I see many a time in Thailand, when all these rich guys come here and then they have their midlife crisis, they're in their 40s, they're multi-millionaires, but they never have the access to Thailand where you could just do whatever the fuck you want, right? You have prostitutes and you have drugs and weird shit. You can just go completely ham here, but they have no self-control. They only focus on money. They have no idea how to deal with women, right? They're not a cowboy. And then they go ham, they spend all their money in a couple of years and they get addicted to all kinds of stupid stuff. And then they're broke. So I see it happen all the time. Steve, for the property research YouTube channels, do you know Physionic? Yeah, I'm subscribed to Physionic. I like his content, health medicine-based supplements, but it really goes deep. Yeah, I watch all his stuff, man. My dad actually recommended Physionic when he had about 30,000 subscribers because my dad was really into over-counter health supplements and trying to improve his health a little bit after I gave him the nudge. And then he recommended Physionic to me. So I've been following him for 1.5 years or something. He's posting frequent, but when it's good, it's good. And sometimes deep dives are like 2 hours. So you have to set some time apart. And I don't watch all of them, but the ones that I watched, I would consider very, very good and is unique insights into a lot of stuff. So I would recommend that channel. Absolutely. Let's see. Is a low dose of mint 10 milligrams daily effective for gains? 5 milligrams in the morning, 5 milligrams in the evening. I think 10 milligrams per day, 70 milligrams per week is good. 50 milligrams would work also. Probably start at 50 milligrams and then go to 70, 75 if the side effects are not too severe. You can always build your way up. 7 cats, no dogs. No, I'm not a dog person. I just don't like dogs. Never was. I like cats. I would like to get a serval cat that's as big as a dog. Serval cat. Oh man, so cute. But that's like if we can't get pregnant and we do a couple more rounds of IVF and it really doesn't happen. So far we didn't even get to the implantation process yet, but we have 3 healthy embryos. Thanks for asking. So we'll start implanting those. If we're unsuccessful, we'll do another round, start implanting, and if that fails, then I'm gonna be a big fat house with a big fat yard and get a serval, and that will be my child, because they bond for life. So hopefully I don't get a serval, but I would love to get a serval cat. Yeah, yeah. But I have 7 cats, no dogs. Just not a dog guy. How do I test if my HCG is real? I have MSC brand pregnant. PCT is coming up in 8 weeks. You can either do a serum test for beta HCG levels. You inject HCG intramuscular 2 hours before you go in for blood work, or sub-Q the day before. It should still be elevated. 1,000 IUs should give you about 25 to 27 milli IUs per milliliter. 500 IUs is about half that, and let's say 12 to 13, 15 milli IUs per milliliter. And 250 IUs will give you about 5 to 8. It's a little bit lower. And intramuscular will be significantly higher if you do it 2 hours before, but I never did that test. I always do sub-Q the day before. And otherwise, you reconstitute and you drop 0.1 milliliters on a pregnancy test. If it turns positive, then you have HCG in your HCG vial. Potential GH dosage frequency 2 IUs per day versus... It doesn't matter, dude. Just get it in. Just get it in. That's what she said. Is it in yet? It's my belly button. Is 40 milligrams Anavar good pre-workout? Yes, but 10 milligrams is a good start. I don't see a reason why people go over 25 milligrams unless your Anavar is shit. Mm, mm, mm. Let's see, where are we? Biscup. For properly... Oh, we already answered this one. Steve, my GH is 0.12 nanograms per milliliter, but my IGF-1 is 394 nanograms per milliliter. How is that possible? Well, growth hormone metabolizes a lot faster than IGF-1. So if you're on 2 to 4 to 6 IUs growth hormone, sub-Q, and you inject that the day before, then your morning growth hormone is going to be undetectable because you have a negative feedback from the IGF-1, which is clearly high. I'm assuming you're at least on 2 IUs growth hormone, maybe 4 to 6. And then your IGF-1 stays elevated for 32 to 36 hours after it's been secreted. IGF-1 is a negative feedback from natural growth hormone production. So that's how this is possible. Maine Coon. Yeah, Maine Coon is nice, but I like a serval more. It has like a more animalistic, more rugged look. Maine Coon seem a little bit passive, but maybe I need to visit one of the petting zoos again. Because I know a friend of mine has a serval. I'm not going to show their Instagram, but they have a very big house in Pattaya, and they have a serval and another cat. I'm not sure if it's a caracal, but another cat, and they absolutely love it. They don't have kids, financially secure. Maine Coon would be nice, but I would just be worried for their heat because I have so much hair. And I think a serval is a little bit bigger. But they say, of course, domesticated cats are Maine Coons, right? But a serval is a wild African cat. You just got to make sure that you get them young enough and spay them, obviously, and just be around them 24/7. And if they maul me, then I'll gladly take it. Yeah. Can we see one of the Vigorous cats? Let's see if I'm terrible with pictures, as you guys know, but I'm sure I have pictures of some of my cats somewhere. Jeez, I'm a terrible dad. Uh, Man, I don't have any cute pictures. I just wiped my phone because I went to Dubai and Holland and I needed some storage space. Here's a picture when they were young. I can't see that right. Any nudes? Any nudes in the preview? Yeah, let me. You know what I'll do is I'll maybe tomorrow or sometime next week I'll take some update pictures and just post that on social media because I think I deleted most of the pictures and just have holiday pictures, which I figured I was going to do some vlogging. And then I didn't do any vlogging because on holiday I hate the fucking camera. And then yeah, look at this. Because can't focus, right? Well, never mind. All right, I'll take some pictures for social media if I don't forget. Devin Wilka took 250 milligrams testosterone, I'm assuming, or testosterone cypionate for 10 weeks. Do I need a PCT? Yes. Yes, you always need PCT because it will stay in your system for another 4 to 6 weeks. So that's 16 weeks on exogenous testosterone. Let me link the PCT video down below. Psychotherapy for dummies. Look at that face. Every time I see old videos, I'm like, fuck. Should have trimmed my hair. Mitch, Iron Grade. I remember the good old days back in 2012 when BTC was like 6 pounds and I used it to buy stuff from the Silk Road. Yeah, good old days. I wish I was smart and kept a load stashed away. Well, I know a guy that bought Bitcoin to buy gear and then he only bought Bitcoin once and he's still buying gear from the Bitcoin that he bought. And he bought it like 6 years ago or something. So he bought Bitcoin once for like $50 and he keeps buying or like $100 or something. He keeps buying because he it just doesn't finish because the value of Bitcoin goes up. So he's been getting free gear for the last 6 years. If you want kids, you can always adopt. No, I don't want surrogate mothers. I don't want to adopt. I want to have my own kids, my own seeds, my own DNA. And if it doesn't work, then get a cat. Main cats are beautiful, like half flying. I'm not sure about their shitting though. Yeah, I know a friend of mine has, or one of my one of my clients has a Maine Coon 2 or 3, and I remember you said that he was just vacuuming every single day. But I'm sure if I have a serval, I'll have to vacuum every day also. So let's see. When I retire, my wife was already said she wanted to open up a cat cafe, and if we have a bigger house, I'm not against the idea of just having a little petting zoo, but only for myself. You know, like a couple foxes and a capybara and a serval. And if I'm retired, then I'm home all day, and I'm just gonna play with the farm animals, man. Get away from social media and this toxic environment. The thing is, I'm not on GH. I was on 100 milligrams of melatonin. Okay. So the melatonin is increasing your growth hormone levels overnight. It's removed in the morning, and your IGF-1 levels are nice and high as a result of that. Because I did 30 milligrams of melatonin, but my fasting growth hormone levels were like 13 nanograms per milliliter, and my IGF-1 went up also. But as you guys know, my IGF-1 levels usually don't budge unless I inject IGF-1. But maybe in your case, the IGF-1 is already metabolized in the morning. So maybe take the 100 milligrams of melatonin over the day, and then 4 hours later, you check your growth hormone levels to see if they went up significantly. Yeah. Do any cycles or AI adjustments need to be made while adding in HMG? No, HMG or follicle stimulating hormone does not increase testosterone or estrogen levels. So, no, I don't think so. I'm going to buy a tiger. No lie, I'm in crypto. Yeah, you can. In Thailand, you can buy tigers and lions. You know, it's I know places they have those. But let's start with a serval. The most exciting thing I got right now is Schwingskat. So let's go to a serval, and then again with $50 million, if I ever get to that point, with fuck you money, yeah, you can open up a little tiger zoo. Hell yeah! You see the headlines like 20 years from now. Multimillionaire, former stared educator on YouTube, mauled and eaten alive by his pet tiger. His pet Bengal tiger. What a way to go. I had a Savannah cat, 50% serval. Yeah, those are already beautiful. If you get an F1 Savannah cat, oh man. But in Thailand, you can just get a fucking serval. Just go for the full one. And I know Ken Skip Hill has a F1 Savannah cat. Or Savannah cat. Not Savannah cat, that's a city in Cambodia. That's what they're named after. Or it's that city. No, Savannah cat is named after Savannah cats in Cambodia when the French invaded. So they have an F1, or Ken Skip Hill is an F1, and he absolutely adores it. But I would go with a serval. I mean, the sound that they make alone, just go YouTube it. It's absolutely fantastic. Mitch, there's a guy that threw away his hard disk at 800 or 8,000 Bitcoin in the UK in his landfill. Yeah, and then they tried to look for it, right? Yeah, there's a lot of lost Bitcoin, man. Luckily, I didn't lose any of them yet. I don't see any benefits from taking 3 milligrams melatonin. 100 milligrams is perfect for me. Yeah, just by all means, do it, man. If it works, it works. 30 milligrams made me fucking depressed. When using Humalog pre-workout, what's a good goal for blood glucose levels during the workout for maximum pump? I would say they're around 100, over 70 at least. But the only real way of knowing how your blood glucose levels fluctuates is by wearing a Dexcom or some sort of other continuous glucose meter. And then, you can, with a continuous glucose meter, you can kind of adapt your intra-workout nutrition or your Humalog dose pre-workouts based on how your blood glucose levels fluctuate. And you'll see that your blood glucose levels will come down after strenuous sets and then shoot up from the cortisol increase. So it will fluctuate quite a bit, So keep that in mind. Booty Scratcher, nice. Who is that? Is that MC Hammer? No? Sir Mix-a-Lot? Steve, what do you think about pinning tests every day with an insulin pin? No need for an AI. On 450 milligrams testosterone enanthate, you probably need an AI. But I would say that most guys could get away with up to 200 milligrams test enanthate pin subcutaneous daily with an insulin syringe and don't need an AI. But beyond that, most guys, maybe if you're 6% body fat, or running 450 milligrams Primo Boron alongside of it. But you probably need an AI even if you do daily macro administrations. Is it possible after a failed PCT, fertility parameters come back to normal, but testosterone levels do not return? No, because you would need HCG and FSH, and HCG will ultimately stimulate testosterone production quite dramatically at fertility dosages. Will you ever consider getting different animals like pigs, little pigs, or cougars? So yeah, I'd consider a capybara and some foxes. Yeah, capybara, and just get a pool. And then just swim with the capybaras every day. Get a whole flock or a group or whatever. They have a capybara cafe in Japan. And I didn't go. Felt sad. Pigs, no. No, pigs are a little bit smelly. But they're cute as fuck, though. Especially when they're young. But when they get older, they're a little bit smelly and nasty. So I'd rather get a capybara and a couple of foxes. And then a serval and a caracal and I don't know, some flying animals and then some rooks, so it was super smart crows. Big one. That's called a rook, right? Rook. Anymore. Yeah. How big is this? 530 grams. Isn't there a bigger one? Rook, crow, raven. Should know this shit, Steve. A raven. Bigger the ravens. 2 kilos. Hell yeah, yeah. A raven. Of course, I have to build an entire fucking what is it called? Atrium for that. So again, I need $50 million first, man. Build a whole atrium with an outside courtyard. I just have like all these animals while I'm smoking cigars and drinking Macallan, 18 years old, double cask, or 18 years old. I'm not sure if that's a double cask, but yeah, that would be a way to live, man. Matthew Craig, who would look better, a guy at 12% body fat on test and testosterone, or a guy at 10% body fat on test and an aromatase inhibitor? Ooh, that's a good one. They might just look equally good. Or, yeah. I think the guy on 500 test, 500 masterone at 12% body fat would look skinny fat, flatter from the masterone due to its overlapping anti-estrogenic effects, but also promoting mineral excretion. And a guy at 10% body fat and a gram of test with an aromatase inhibitor would look a little bit fuller and drier, obviously. So it might be 10% body fat and test if the diet is the same, because the mineral excretion on masterone might be more severe, and the body fat that covers you now makes you look even softer because the muscle is deflated. You know? Yeah. Otters. And forgot about that. Yes, I definitely need 2 otters in the pool with the capybaras. What's it, Korean or Japanese channel with the 2 otter? Otter. Kotsumit. Yeah, 2 million subscribers. Kotaro and Hana. So cute, man. Need some otters. All right. Critique my stack. L-carnitine, taurine, L-tyrosine, NAG-GABA, berberine, vitamin B12, magnesium, boron, tadalafil, forcia, not sure what that is, pregnenolone, CLA, multivitamin. Magnesium you have. I would switch the B12 for just a B50 complex, morning and evening. I would add in, so you have a little bit of vitamin B6 for the L-tyrosine to convert into dopamine downstream. Maybe 3 to 5 milligrams of melatonin before bed. 6, yeah. What the hell is that? 10 milligrams. Oh, that pack of Flozin. Okay. I think you got pretty much everything covered, man. Vitamin C. And I think it's a good over-the-counter stack. Well, for the pack of Flozin is not really an over-the-counter supplement, but the rest is. Koi fish. Fish are not loving, man. You need animals that are loving. Foxes, otters, capybaras, sphinx cats, servals. They're loving. I don't know that any fishes are loving. Oh no, they're pretty. Like koi fishes. You can buy a couple koi fishes for $1,000 and then your serval is going to eat them. It's like with the fucking long claw that's just as long as your forearm. Just fucking slaps it out. And then you come back and then you just have tails, $1,000 tails laying on your lawn. No. No way. Couple more animals, you'll be the next Steve Irwin. Maybe that's my last name. You never know. Mate. Dolphins are also dubbed very intelligent enough to get high as fuck for fun. That's true, right? There's some animals that like to get high on some sort of way. But dolphins, I would not be able to keep in my backyard. So I would have to visit them somewhere. I would love to swim one time with dolphins, though. Imagine playing with a dolphin that's high. It's probably blowing those bubble circles the whole time. Oh, missed this one. Booty scratcher. If pitting daily 450 milligrams testosterone antidote per week with an insulin syringe, no sides except acne, would AI still be needed? Do some freaking blood work. You know this answer was coming. For $7, I'll take it. But you still knew you could for $7. You probably could have checked your serum estradiol levels. I'll take it though. Thank you so much. But yeah, do blood work and then assess from there. Natural. If I take 600 milligrams magnesium bisglycinate before bed, could this interfere with my potassium intake over the daytime? No, not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of, but it's still better to split it up. Take 300 milligrams magnesium threonate before bed, and then 200 milligrams magnesium bisglycinate with each meal. That's what I would recommend. Get a twink as a pet. You can even do to make chores. Well, I have a personal assistant that helps me with chores, so I don't need a twink, and he's pretty beefy. Not the good kind of beef, though. Cats suck. All right. Ban user and delete their comments. Go fuck yourself and die in a fire. Cats suck. Suck. Die. You suck. And you're banned for life. Thoughts on Retatrutide, and apparently it's spelled Retatrutide, so not retarditide. All right, and you're also banned. Spamming questions. Goodbye, Smarks. Bye. Retatrutide. Yeah, it looks very promising. I used it in the United States last year at 1 milligrams 3 times per week, but I was also just eating a little bit more freely. You got great appetite suppression from it. I think the glucagon forced a little bit of glucose into my urine because some glucose levels might have been high at one point or another, right? Eating the American food at diners sometimes is probably not a good idea. But yeah, I should order some more. It's not available through my compounding pharmacy here. We only have tirzepatide, which I'm running right now while I'm fasting. I mean, and if you have all the cheating tools available, then might as well use it. It was in my fridge screaming at me, so I'm using that right now. But yeah, Retatrutide at one point I'll order it, but so far my appetite is pretty much under control. I feel that the Mirabegron and the growth hormone combination is blunting my appetite quite well. Yeah, the glycine also helps with sleep, but it seems that threonate just helps to permeate the blood-brain barrier and promote sedation and sleepiness a lot more. So feel free to take threonate with glycine and GABA and melatonin and 5-HTP and the valerian root and gorilla mind dream. And then you sleep, and then I use growth hormone, and then you sleep like a fucking brick. Gave me blood sugar headaches, but works very well. Yeah, I think Retatrutide works the best. Retarditide, yes, Octavian, yes, we've made this joke. Retarditide, and we're banned again. Yeah, I think it's best if you use Retatrutide in a ketogenic diet or while fasting. Like I think if you combine Retatrutide with Ngenla, the long-acting growth hormone, while fasting for like 5 days, I think that would be perfect for fat loss and body recomposition and appetite suppression. Yeah. Hello from Russia. Thank you for guides. My pleasure. You haven't moved over here yet. A lot of Russians in Thailand right now trying to avoid being drafted, which I totally understand. So even though there's a lot of Russians in Thailand right now and other places in the world, Dubai also, I totally get it. Not everybody wants to support what is going on right now. Also, a lot of Ukrainians trying to escape what's going on. Yeah, it's very, very sad. I talked with my good friend who's a diplomat, and it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good, the situation. Let me tell you that. Yeah. But I will say that if war breaks out, the guy who just dropped out of the race in the United States, the other candidates that are left, I have more faith in them handling the situation than the previous president. He can't even handle his own thoughts. So let's see what happens. There will be good buying opportunities in the stock market. That's for sure. So if you're anywhere in Russia or Ukraine, get the fuck out while you can. Maybe even Europe. I already offered my family to fly them here, even though Thailand you wouldn't be safe. I mean, but it's less in the conflict. Yeah, serious shit going on in the world. But then again, the Cold War lasted a very long time also, and that turned out to be not so serious after all. Does Ovitrel and bacteriostatic water expire after a couple weeks? You didn't watch the like what Ovitrel is already reconstituted, and it's recombinant HCG. So I'm not entirely sure what you asking for. I went on vacation. Should I open up another bottle? Ovitrel is recombinant HCG already pre-mixed, and it stays good for up to 60 days in my personal experience. So there's no Ovitrel that you need to reconstitute, in my opinion. Ovitrel reconstitution. Is there? Oh, there's ampules. No, they're all pens, dude. It's all pens. So are you mean Pregnil? Urine purified HCG? Urine purified HCG in bacteriostatic water does expire after about 14 days because you're piercing the vial constantly, and it just adding contaminants, whether that's from the air or the front of the vial. Right? You're piercing that into the vial, and then it can interact with the HCG. But I already made a video about that not too long ago. Best human dose of human chorionic gonadotropin for the functional balls, the HCG deep dive. I'll link it down below. It was only 1 hour and 17 minutes. How many views did I get? 18,000. Well, ROI shit on that one. Well, somebody has to do it. Might as well be me. I make all the videos that nobody else wants to make. So I can get all the credit and the love. Why hasn't Greg Duchette made a response video since your last Q&A? I expected it within hours. Well, you never know with Greg, right? I mean, he responded to a podcast between me and Chase Irons that we did over 1.5 years ago. So give him some time. Give him some time. It's the weekend, you know. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do over the weekend. Cocaine benders. There, I said it. Yeah. I don't know. Silly Greg. I was comparing it to normal HCG. Okay, so you're talking about pregnant HCG. Yeah, so 14 days. 14 days. Watch the HCG deep dive. So you should... I just went on vacation. Yeah, just crack another ampule or crack another bottle of Pregnil urine purified HCG. And start a fresh one and enjoy the gigantic loads. Mike Freeman, I'm outside the UK. YouTube won't let me do donations. How can I send USDT to get your opinion on the best lean bulk cycle? Well, there's a Bitcoin address down below, but nobody has ever donated. There's also a link for donations. You can use a credit card. And donations I get sometimes through the website, but usually people donate here through super chats. So maybe use the personalized advice by email service, but it's $270 though. It's private. You know, look at some of the services. They're all linked down below. And otherwise, get your mom's credit card and then do donation for a super chat. There's always a way, you know, to get your super chats in. And what did you want to know? Best lean bulk cycle except using growth hormone. Test, boldenone, and a clean diet. Done. Easy. You can bulk on anything. It's about the diet. You know? You know this, Mike. It's about the diet. Staying lean during a bulk is about the diet, not about the drugs. Even though a lot of growth hormone helps. I will say that. Hey, Steve, the info in your mitochondrial support stack really helped a friend of mine who suffers from NARP, neuropathy, ataxia, retinitis pigmentosa syndrome. Great results inside 3 weeks. All right, good. Keep in mind it's not medical advice, but it helps resolve a medical condition. I'm all for it. So good to hear. You guys use my discount codes to purchase whatever it is that you used. So I can get a kickback. So I can buy a serval cat. They're like a couple $1,000s. If I can imagine that, no? If I go through 2 rounds of IVF and I spent like $50,000 and I don't get any kids, which I don't expect, but let's say worst case scenario, I spend $50,000 on IVF, don't get kids, and then I have to spend another couple $1,000s on a serval. I'm sure I'll get kids. I'm sure. All right, let's scroll up a little bit more. Yo, Gunner, I don't like cats. Suck my balls. Actually, my balls are reserved for my wife. You can suck my shit. Fuck. Can you disclose if any of your clients going to the enhanced games? Maybe. I'm not helping them with the drug test. Because there's no drug test. As a father of 4, just buy le. Just buy the cat. I always hear these guys that they are like going insane from their kids. That's okay, man. I've lived my life. I've done all the cool stuff that I still want to go to Tibet and Bhutan, and that's about it, man. I don't know what's more. As a father of 4, just stick with the Lego sets. Yeah, that's what I do. When is the enhanced games taking place? I don't know. I don't think they were supposed to do it at the same time of as the Olympics, but they said that it's meant to take place in 2025. But that's what the Wikipedia page says. Is that on their website though? January. I'll check out their website real quick. Our plan. Event plan. Yeah, okay. So the first enhanced games are scheduled for the second half of 2025. We're in the process of negotiating with host cities and we'll announce the dates and locations this summer. So summer's almost over. You better hurry, guys. Building a future of sports takes time. We want to make sure we get it right. Yeah, I should reach out to those guys, see what's going on. I wouldn't be on board in any kind of capacity. Ilya Milos, cruising 150 milligrams testosterone enteric per week, going on holiday for 3 weeks. Should I pin more tests before flying or switch to test on Decanate? How would you dose it? 3 weeks. Yeah, I would pin like 450 test on Decanate sub-Q. So let's do 2 cc, so 1 cc. Per site, so 2 sites, test undecanoate, but you need an aromatase inhibitor because the first week you will aromatize quite a bit. Did you look into Paul Stamets stock? No, not yet. It's on the to-do list. I've had all the consultations that I was supposed to do on holiday, I've had this week. And then a couple guys sign up for the 10-hour package. Like I told you guys a while ago that usually June, July, or May, June, July, August is like prime time for consultations and sign up. So I've been very busy with that. And of course, if you go on a holiday for 2 weeks, then instead of doing 1.5 hours of consultations, now you're 10 days behind. So you do 2-3 hours of consultations. So no, I didn't have time to look into that. But now that I've gone through most of the consultations, I got a couple more next week, but usually the normal amount. So I'll start looking into that and then record some videos again because it's been a while. Yeah. But it is very interesting. So thanks so much for bringing that to my attention. I thought Paul Stamets was a character of Star Trek Discovery, but he's actually a real person that the character has been based on. Do you think there will be much of a difference in records of the Olympics and the enhanced games? Yeah, I think some records will be broken, but not by that much because most of the guys in the Olympics are already on something. But of course, they're circumnavigating the doping test, so they might stop certain drugs or they limit how much drugs you're taking or switch drugs that are not on the doping list. So I'm sure there will be a lot of records broken, but not by that much. And keep in mind that the stellar athletes will continue in the Olympics because it's still more prestigious. And some of them get great prize money, great support. And enhanced games in the beginning, I think it's just going to be the B team of athletes that failed or guys that never made the cut, basically. or not high-ranking athletes, because right, if you're like my wife, she competed in the WBPF, right? Was drug tested. She was the highest-ranking bikini athlete or sports model athlete, and why change when the prize money is $1 million baht, $35,000? Well, why change when you're almost guaranteed when you're the best for that much prize money? Why change? So, right, good athletes will stay where they are, and they might be better than the B team athletes on all the performance enhancing drugs. So, let's see. Time will tell, man. Time will tell. How long will it take for estradiol levels to max out while pinning testosterone sip daily? Usually about 2 to 4 weeks, give or take. 2 to 4 weeks. But usually I tell people to do blood work in 4-week increments, and then you can kind of see where your estradiol has maxed out or stabilized at. Yeah. See if there's some more fun questions, and then we're going to wrap it up soon because I'm getting tired. I already did an hour with Paul Burnett, and then 2.5 hours with you guys. 3.5 hours on camera. I don't understand how these video game streamers do it. Is going to the pharmacy school USA good for learning health and gear? I don't know. Ask somebody who went to medical school in the United States. I wouldn't know, man. Wouldn't know. Season 1, yeah. True Detective season 1 was great. And then season 2, after 3 episodes, I stopped it. But season 1 is with Matthew McConaughey. I mean, that's almost mandatory watch, whatever he does. Yeah, it's very, very good. True Detective. But I watched that when it came out. Matthew McConaughey and man, it's on the tip of my tongue. God. Fuck. True Detective season 1. Why does it never say it anywhere? Woody Harrelson. Yes, Woody Harrelson. Yeah. Oh, fuck. Did I watch it a decade ago? January 2024. Holy shit. Is this a decade old already? That's terrible. Yeah, Woody Harrelson. Thank you. Villain Arturnus. Super sticker. Thank you. Yeah. No Country for Old Men is great. Anatomy of a Downfall. Did I watch this one? Anatomy of a Fall? Is it a French movie? Anatomy of a Fall or Downfall? Anatomy of a Fall. That's all I get. Look. All right, guys, let's start wrapping it up before it turns into the movie talk Q&A. How many weeks can I use 20 milligrams Turinabol until blood work parameters turn to shit? So it's up to you to manage that. There were 2 Polish guys that had blindfold and just sitting on the chairs for 24 hours. I would consider that a form of torture. What? Really? In a movie? Okay. All right. Well, that's Russian, so na zdrowie. Let's see. Yeah, let's wrap it up here, man. I'm getting kind of sleepy, and I have a dinner date with the fridge because I got to inject 10 IUs of growth hormone, and I got to play with my cats for the last hour of the day, so they feel very, very friendly. So or feel very, very happy before they go to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay, guys, enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next week. I'm not entirely sure when next videos will drop because my editor is on holiday, but I'll try to squeeze out a couple more videos that I'll edit myself. And otherwise, well, we'll see you next weekend for the Vigorous Q&A. I know it's holiday time. I mean, you see there's only 100 people in the chat. So instead of having the 250 that we normally have, everybody's kind of in holiday mode, and I am still the same holiday mode, relaxing. So we'll get back to the usual program in a couple of weeks. But until that day comes, enjoy yourself, and we'll see you next week in the Vigorous Q&A for sure. Peace out, guys.